pretty good team.
That was pretty. It was
What
pretty
made
decent.
that team so good, you two?
Welcome back to Clark USA fans. They said she wasn't ready. They said she wasn't good enough. And in the summer of 2024, while Caitlin Clark sat at home watching Team USA women's basketball head to the Paris 2024 Summer Olympics, the basketball world erupted into debate. Cameras flashed, arenas filled, and the spotlight was locked onto a dynasty that suddenly didn't look as untouchable as it once did. Because something was missing. Or more accurately, someone. The kind of player who doesn't just fit into a system, but transforms it. The kind of player who doesn't just play the game, but bends it to her will. And as the games unfolded, one question echoed louder with every possession, every missed opportunity, every shaky moment. What if Caitlin Clark was there? Because here's the truth nobody could ignore anymore. This wasn't just about one roster decision. This was about the future of the game. A generational talent left off the biggest stage, while millions watched and wondered how something so obvious could be overlooked. But greatness doesn't wait for permission. And when the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup qualifiers came calling, Caitlin Clark didn't just respond. She made a statement so loud that the entire basketball world had no choice but to listen. 5 games. 5 wins. Tournament MVP. And the craziest part? She wasn't even starting. Coming off the bench. Playing limited minutes. And still controlling the rhythm of every single game like she had been running Team USA her entire life. That's not normal. That's not development. That's dominance. From the very first moment she stepped onto the court in a Team USA jersey, everything changed. It wasn't just another substitution, it felt like a shift in energy. The crowd felt it. The commentators felt it. Even the opposing team felt it. Because when Caitlin Clark touches the floor, the game speeds up for everyone else, but somehow slows down for her. That's what separates great players from generational ones. Vision. Timing. Control. Her first real possession? A masterclass. Calm, patient, calculated. No panic. No forcing the moment. She read the defense like a veteran, used the screen perfectly, and delivered a pinpoint pass to Monique Billings for an easy finish. Just like that, she was in control. Not trying to prove anything. Just playing the game the way she sees it. And that's what makes her dangerous. Because even when things don't go perfectly, she still finds a way. A loose handle? For most players, that's a mistake. For Caitlin Clark, it's just a delay. While recovering, her eyes are already scanning, calculating, predicting. She spots Kelsey Plum on the perimeter and fires a laser pass before the defense even realizes what's happening. Splash. Another assist. Another reminder that she's always 2 steps ahead. Then came the moment everyone was waiting for, her first shot in a Team USA jersey. And if you understand basketball, you understand this. Great shooters don't wait for space. They create it. Off the ball, Caitlin wasn't standing still. She was reading, moving, setting up the defense before they even knew they were being set up. A cut here. A screen there. A quick handoff.
Probing, drags out Nelson Adota. Clark will fire.
And then boom. Deep shot. Pure. No hesitation. Some called it luck. But anyone who understands the game knew better. That was inevitable. Because what followed wasn't just a good performance, it was a clinic. A breakdown of how basketball is supposed to be played at the highest level. Quick decisions. Perfect timing. Zero wasted movement. Whether it was threading impossible passes, stretching defenses with her range, or creating opportunities out of nothing, Caitlin Clark turned every possession into a lesson. And it wasn't just about her scoring. It was about how she elevated everyone around her. Take her chemistry with Ryan Howard. 2 competitors. 2 stars. A history of going at each other. But put them in the same jersey? Now you've got a problem no defense can solve. Pick-and-roll situations turned into highlight reels. Cross-court passes hitting perfectly in stride. Back-to-back threes that completely flipped momentum. That's what happens when elite players stop competing against each other and start building something together. And then came the moment that broke the internet. Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese. Same team. A rivalry that defined women's college basketball suddenly turned into collaboration. No noise. No drama. Just execution. Entry pass, perfect. Positioning, perfect. Finish, perfect. Two competitors putting everything aside for one goal. And in that moment, it felt bigger than basketball. Because it showed what the game could become when talent, respect, and purpose align. But Caitlin wasn't done. Because when you pair her with another elite mind like Paige Bueckers, the game reaches another level entirely. Transition opportunity. Open three. Most players take that shot without thinking. But Caitlin? She's already thinking 2 moves ahead. Reading defenders. Anticipating rotations. Setting up the next play before the current one even ends. That's the difference. That's why this isn't just about stats. Or highlights. Or viral moments. It's about impact. Because by the end of that tournament, one thing was undeniable: Caitlin Clark didn't just prove she belonged. She proved the game is better when she's in it. Faster. Smarter. More exciting. More alive. And now the question isn't whether she's good enough. The question is, how did anyone ever think she wasn't?
The pace starts to pick up here from Indy. The hesitation.
They said she wasn't good enough. They said she wasn't ready. And when Caitlin Clark watched Team USA women's basketball head to the Paris 2024 Summer Olympics without her, the noise got louder than ever. Critics talked. Analysts doubted. And the basketball world questioned whether one of the most electric players we've ever seen truly belonged on the biggest stage. But what happened next didn't just answer those questions, it erased them. Because when the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup qualifiers began, Caitlin Clark didn't just show up, she took over. And once she stepped on the floor, everything changed. Because what separates Caitlin Clark from everyone else isn't just talent, it's timing, vision, and control under pressure. Take that moment with Paige Bueckers, a play that looked simple, but was anything but. Caitlin drives, draws the defense in, and waits, not a second too early, not a second too late. The instant the defender commits, she kicks it out. Paige is wide open. Splash. All net. That's not luck. That's elite basketball IQ. That's 2 players thinking the game at the same speed, on the same wavelength. And if that didn't give you chills, you weren't paying attention. By the time the Senegal game was over, Caitlin Clark had already stamped her authority on the tournament. A double-double. 17 points. 12 assists. And she did it in just 19 minutes. 19. Let that sink in. She didn't even play half the game, and still looked like the most dominant player on the floor by a mile. Coming off the bench, controlling the tempo, dictating every possession. That's not just impact, that's control. But let's address something head-on. There's a narrative out there, one that keeps getting repeated, that Caitlin Clark can't play defense. You've heard it. You've seen it. And honestly, it's lazy. Because if you actually watch the game, really watch it, you'll see something completely different. Against Puerto Rico, Caitlin was locked in, reading passing lanes like she had a blueprint of the court in her head. Before the pass was even released, she was already moving. Interception. Clean. No hesitation. She turns defense into offense in seconds, sprinting down the court with the crowd rising to its feet. Now here's where most players rush. They force the finish. They let the moment speed them up. But not Caitlin. She stays composed. Finishes through contact. Draws the foul. Converts the three-point play. That's discipline. That's poise. That's a player who understands the game on both ends of the floor. And then, there's the range. We're not talking about normal three-point range anymore. We're talking about logo range. Deep. Fearless. Confident. Caitlin pulls up from near half-court like it's a routine shot, barely even reacting as the ball drops clean through the net. At this point, it's not hype, it's reality. Defenses still haven't adjusted. They still don't pick her up early enough. And she makes them pay every single time. Meanwhile, her chemistry with Angel Reese kept evolving into one of the most fascinating storylines of the tournament. 2 players once defined by rivalry, now working together with precision. Reese dominating in the post. Caitlin delivering perfect entry passes right on time, right on target. The footwork. the finish, the assist. Over and over again. It wasn't just effective, it was beautiful basketball. A reminder that when competition turns into collaboration, something special happens. And then came one of the most jaw-dropping plays of the tournament, a full-court laser to Jordan, Canada. Caitlin barely glances up, sees the opportunity, and launches a pass that travels 3/4 of the court, hitting her teammate perfectly in stride. Reverse layup. Bucket. That's not just vision, that's instinct. The kind of play that makes coaches rewind the tape again and again just to understand how she even saw it. But here's the part that makes it even more unbelievable. She still wasn't starting. Game after game, the best player on the floor was coming off the bench. And yet, not once did Caitlin complain. Not once did she show frustration. No attitude. No distractions. Just focus. She came in, did her job, and dominated. That's leadership. That's maturity. That's what separates stars from superstars. Against Italy, she reminded everyone again why she's different. One possession, just one, was enough to show the full package. A handoff at the top. A fake one way. A shift back the other. The defender completely off balance. Help defense steps up. Most players panic here. Caitlin doesn't. She stays low, protects the ball, and executes a perfect step-through for an easy bucket. 3 seconds. That's all it took. And then, something nobody would have believed just a couple years ago. Angel Reese setting a screen for Caitlin Clark. Caitlin comes off it, rises from deep, and knocks down another 3 without hesitation. It sounds unreal, but it happened. And it worked. And it kept working. Their chemistry wasn't just good. It was becoming dangerous. The pick-and-roll game? Unstoppable. No matter what the defense tried, Caitlin had an answer. Drop coverage, she pulls up from deep. Hedge, she finds the roller. Switch, she attacks the mismatch. Blitz, she hits the open shooter. Every read, every decision, perfectly timed. And she made it look easy. There was even a moment where she just went into her bag, dribbling, spinning, creating space, and hitting a tough turnaround jumper like it was nothing. A reminder that yes, she can score whenever she wants. She just chooses to elevate everyone else instead. And that's what makes her truly special. Because when she plays off the ball alongside someone like Paige Bueckers, the game opens up in a completely different way. Now Caitlin becomes the shooter, the cutter, the off-ball threat. And defenses have no idea what to do. One play, Paige drives, draws the defense, kicks it out. Caitlin catches in rhythm. No hesitation. Splash. Automatic. That connection only got stronger. Against New Zealand, it reached another level. Caitlin reads the defense before the play even develops. She drives, anticipates the help, and instantly knows where the open player will be. The corner. Paige again. Pass delivered. Shot made. It looked effortless, but it was pure intelligence. And defensively, she kept proving people wrong. In a high pick and roll, instead of sitting back, she attacks. Applies pressure. Forces the mistake. Strips the ball clean. Fast break. Easy points. That's not weak defense. That's elite anticipation. And just like that, the narrative started to collapse. Because by the end of this run, one thing was crystal clear: Caitlin Clark wasn't just proving people wrong. She was redefining what greatness looks like. Not just scoring, not just passing, but controlling every aspect of the game. Elevating teammates. Making impossible plays look routine. This wasn't just a breakout. This was a takeover. And now, the question isn't whether she belongs at the top. The question is, how much higher can she go?
And laid it in, she's got 20.
They said she wasn't ready. They said she didn't belong. But what Caitlin Clark did in this tournament didn't just answer the critics, it flipped the entire narrative on its head. Because once the rhythm clicked, once the chemistry started flowing, it became clear that this wasn't just another talented player finding her footing. This was a complete takeover, built on trust, timing, and a level of basketball intelligence that only a few players in the world truly possess. And nothing captured that better than her connection with Paige Bueckers. From the moment Caitlin pushed the ball up the floor, Paige didn't even need to look back. That's the kind of trust you can't teach. It's not drawn up on a whiteboard. It's built through instinct and understanding. Paige sprinted the lane knowing one thing for certain: the ball was coming. And Caitlin delivered. A bounce pass from near half-court, perfectly timed, perfectly placed, hitting Paige in stride like it was routine. No wasted motion. No extra dribbles. Just pure execution. Bucket. That's the kind of connection that doesn't always show up in the stat sheet, but it wins games. And when the matchup against Spain arrived, that chemistry reached another level entirely. This wasn't just another game. This was the toughest test of the tournament. A disciplined, physical, and experienced team led by players like Megan Gustafson, ready to push Team USA in ways no other team had. And for the first time, you could feel the pressure building. But Caitlin Clark? She thrives in that environment. One moment defined it perfectly. A defensive rebound secured. Eyes up instantly. And there goes Paige already sprinting down the floor, leaving defenders behind. Caitlin doesn't hesitate. She launches a full-court pass, a true Hail Mary, sailing over everyone. Paige catches it in stride. Easy finish. The arena explodes. It felt less like basketball and more like something out of a movie. The kind of play that makes you stop and ask yourself, how is that even possible? Because that's what Caitlin does. She creates moments that don't feel real. And yet, it wasn't just about the highlights. It was about control. Against Spain, she orchestrated the game with precision. 7 points, 7 assists, a steal, and a block in just over 22 minutes. Numbers that don't scream dominance at first glance, but if you watch the game, you know the truth. Every possession ran through her. Every advantage started with her decision-making. She was the engine. Her connection with Kelsey Plum was another example of brilliance unfolding in real time. 2 elite guards, both capable of taking over games, now working together seamlessly. Caitlin probing the defense, forcing it to shift just enough, and then striking. A quick pass to the corner. Plum attacks. Finishes. Over and over again, Caitlin put her teammates in positions where success felt inevitable.
A little bit earlier, I asked Diana, what was your playing weight at U?
That's what a true floor general does. But if you want to understand just how special Caitlin Clark is, you have to look at the defensive end too. Because the most impressive play of the entire tournament might not have been a deep 3 or a no-look pass, it was a red. A moment of anticipation so sharp it felt like she was seeing the future. As the Spanish team prepared an outlet pass, Caitlin was already moving. She read the play before it even unfolded, jumped the passing lane, intercepted the ball right in the paint, and converted the easiest bucket of her night. That's not athleticism. That's not luck. That's genius-level basketball IQ. And then came the inbound play too. 5 seconds left, pressure building, no room for error. The ball is in Caitlin's hands because when it matters most, you trust your best decision-maker. Angel Reese fights for position under the rim. Caitlin sees the window, barely there, and threads the perfect pass. Reese finishes just before the buzzer. Perfect timing. Perfect execution. A play that only works if everything is flawless. And with Caitlin, it often is. From there, it felt like the floodgates opened. Every possession turned into an opportunity. A quick pick and roll leading to another 3. A fast break sequence flowing through multiple players before ending in a corner shot. A broken play salvaged by Caitlin's awareness, redirecting the ball to the right teammate at the right time. It didn't matter what Spain tried, they couldn't keep up. Because when Caitlin Clark is running the show, the entire team levels up. Shooters become snipers. Role players look like stars. The ball moves differently. The game feels different. There's a rhythm and energy, a confidence that spreads across the floor. And suddenly, everything starts clicking. That's impact you can't measure. That's influence you can't teach. And by the time the final buzzer sounded, the message was clear: Caitlin Clark didn't just play in this tournament. She defined it. 5 games. 5 wins. Total control. And she did it all coming off the bench, never complaining, never forcing the spotlight, just taking it through her performance. She didn't chase validation. She created it. And now the story has changed. Because this isn't about proving people wrong anymore. It's about what comes next. How far can she go? Who can actually challenge her? And when the lights are brightest, when the pressure is at its peak, is there anyone who can truly stop her? The arenas will keep roaring. The spotlight will only get bigger. And Caitlin Clark? She's just getting started.